the synthesis of yoga, and we have to go to page 290, the thought, since it is not the highest. Okay?
Yes, Ranga.
Archana, can you hear me? You have to switch on your mic. Your now you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I don't know whether I am audible.
Okay.
Can anybody hear me?
Very faintly, very faint.
Okay. Okay, that is another problem. Okay, Ranga, I can hear you very clearly. I can hear you.
Now I also can hear you clearly. Okay. So shall we start?
Now can you hear me, Rangada? 1 minute, please. Rangada, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes, I can.
Is it clear? No.
Yeah, very clear. Very clear.
No? Okay,
Yeah.
okay, that's all.
Seema, can you hear me? Seema, can you hear me? And Pallavi, can you hear me? Pallavi, you'll have to switch on your mic. It seems to be off.
Yeah, that's what that mic is the problem, Rangada. We are not like, okay, we'll get used to it in a few days, no problem.
We'll get used.
Yeah.
At the bottom of the page.
We can hear.
Yeah.
No, the Pallavi and Seema, and they have to switch on their mic, then they will have to hear. At the bottom of the left hand side, there is a audio. So you have to switch on the audio.
Yes, Rangadan, I found it.
Yeah, found. That's it.
Yes. Rangada, please repeat the page number now.
Page number is 290. 290. The thought.
Okay.
So,
another question before we start. Kiran, how can I get the recording?
I'll see how to give you the recording, Archanadi, or you can also record on your
Phone.
Zoom app also. If you press the recording button, no, not now, today.
One minute.
Next time I won't record, you can also record.
No, I will not be able to record because I leave the, I in between for a minute or so, I am not on the call. Okay. Net fluctuates.
Okay.
So I will not be able to record the call.
Okay, I'll let you know how I'll manage to give you. I'll let you know.
Because otherwise it won't be able to be uploaded. That's all.
No, I'll
if
manage
you have to upload, then you'll have to.
Yes, I'll ask and I'll share with you. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. That's all.
So shall we start? So Kiran.
Yes, Rangan.
Since you are the kingpin today of Zoom, why don't you start reading?
Okay, Rangada. Okay.
The thought.
The thought.
Yeah.
The thought, since it is not the highest or strongest part of nature, not even the soul or deepest index to truth, ought not to follow its own exclusive satisfaction or take that for the sign of its attainment to the supreme knowledge. It is here as the guide up to a certain point of the heart, the life, and the other members, but it cannot be a substitute for them. It has to see not only what is its own ultimate satisfaction, but whether there is not an ultimate satisfaction intended also for these other members. An exclusive path of abstract thought would be justified only if the object of the supreme will in the universe has been nothing more than a descent into the activity of the ignorance operated by the mind as blinding instrument and jailer to false idea and sensation, and an ascent into the quiescence of knowledge equally operated by the mind through correct thought as enlightening instrument and savor but the chances are that there is an aim in the world less absurd and aimless, an impulse towards the absolute less dry and abstract, a truth of the world more large and complex, a more richly infinite height of the infinite. Certainly, an abstract logic must always arrive as the old systems arrived, at an infinite empty negation or an infinite equally vacant affirmation. For abstract, it moves towards an absolute abstraction, and these are the only two abstractions that are absolutely absolute, but a concrete, ever deepening wisdom, waiting on more and more reaches of infinite experience, and not the confident abstract logic of the narrow and incompetent human mind, is likely to be the key to a divine suprahuman knowledge. The heart, the will, the life, and even the body, no less than the thought, are forms of a divine conscious being and indices of great significance. These two have powers by which the soul can return to its complete self awareness or means by which it can enjoy it. The object of the supreme will may be a culmination in which the whole being is intended to receive its divine satisfaction, the heights enlightening the depths, the material inconscient revealed to itself as the divine by the touch of the supreme superconscience.
Yeah. This is a, I remind you of um, the, the section that we are doing now in this synthesis. He has first finished the first 200, nearly 300 pages. He has finished the Karma Yoga as applied in the integral yoga. Now he is discussing the Jnana Yoga, the traditional Jnana Yoga, and he is in this paragraph, he is pointing out that traditional Jnana Yoga is fine, but that cannot be the aim in life. Because only if the mind is coming and you go to a supreme, like Buddha's or the Mayavadin, you go to a vacant infinite, negative vacancy and positive vacancy. He is using the two words that we will discuss. So he says that it cannot be that it is a whole of divine intention in the world. Surely we have an emotional side, so that also must find some satisfaction. Then the body also is there, that also must find some satisfaction. So how can it be that Jnana Yoga is the only spiritual path and the only aim? He said it cannot be that. That's what he's saying in the paragraph. Okay. So now we will have a look at each word. The thought, that is the mind, and we have also a vital and we have also a body. But the thought, since it is not the highest or strongest part of nature. So, which is the strongest part of nature? The self or the psychic being. Okay, that is much, much higher and stronger than nature. Thought. Thought is very powerful, no doubt. It is thought. It is the mind of man that has given us the mobile, the Zoom program that we are using. We are using cars, aeroplanes. So the thought is very powerful, but it is nothing compared to the self and the psychic being. That's what it is. The thought, since it is not the highest or strongest part of nature, not even the soul or deepest index to truth, because you get knowledge in some aspect of the divine, but not the entire knowledge. Remember, the highest reality is Sat Chit Shakti Ananda. So only if you are seeing what about Ananda, what about Shakti, all these things also must find their manifestation in the world. That's what it means. Not even the soul or deepest index to truth ought not to follow its own exclusive satisfaction or take that for the sign of its attainment to the supreme knowledge. So the Jnana Yogi is satisfied with his knowledge. That's okay for him, but not for followers of Sri Aurobindo. Why do you want only one aspect of the divine? You should have all the aspects. So that's why the integral yoga. So the integral yoga, we can follow the path of knowledge, but we must not think that that's the entire and only thing possible. The only aim in spiritual life is jnana. That Srila is saying is not necessary to think like that. It is here as a guide up to a certain point of the heart, the life, and the other members. So it is here the guide. In fact, in Sanskrit literature, we have Manomaya Prana Sharira Neta. The mind should be the leader of the vital and the body. Okay? But it is not spiritually the last. Okay, that's what it is. And also the control of the mind on the vital and the body is very, very weak compared to what can be. That's what it's saying. Okay. It is here. Here means in the physical world. Okay. It is here because elsewhere, outside the physical world, the mind has no power. It's a self and the intuition that has power. Okay. So ought not to follow its own exclusive satisfaction, or take that for the sign of its attainment to the supreme knowledge. Same as in the word ought not to. He is talking from the point of view of integral yoga. Okay, he is not giving advice to the Jnana Yoga. If he is satisfied, well and good. But Srivamdana is not satisfied, nor should the followers of Srivamdana's integral yoga follow that. Okay, need not think in that way. It is here as a guide up to a certain point. There you are, very clearly, of the heart, the life, and the other members. So heart is very clear, the higher vital. The higher vital, the vital has two parts, the higher vital and the lower vital. The higher vital has got all the positive aspects of the vitality. Love, okay, unselfish love, okay, sympathy for all, love of country, okay, then patriotism. All these things are very, very high and noble. Helping others, okay, having ideas of philanthropy, all these things are good. So that's a higher vital. But there is also a lower vital, which Ranga is calling life. Okay? Life, when he says, he takes the whole of vital. But here he is meaning the lower vital. The lower vital is our, where we have all the negative emotions. Okay, hate, okay, disgust, looking down on others, selfishness, ego, all these things are the lower vital. So the heart, the life, and the other members. Now, which are the other members? The body, but also there are many other parts of us. Okay, what it means by other members is there is a physical mind, vital mind, and a mental mind, if you want. So all these things and their combinations, and also our inner vital, inner physical, inner mental, all these are the other parts. Okay? But it cannot be a substitute for them. So the mind cannot be a substitute for the heart, life, and body, but it can guide them to a certain extent, up to a certain extent. Naturally, a man who uses his mind to control his vital is far superior to the man who is living in a vital world. No, naturally. So, Srivamdana is not decrying the role of mind. He is not negating the role of mind in ordinary life. But in the spiritual life, you have to go beyond the mind. That's what he said. It is here as a guide up to a certain point of the heart, life, and the other member, but it cannot be a substitute for them. It has to see not only what is its own ultimate satisfaction, but whether there is not an ultimate satisfaction intended for these other members. The heart also must find satisfaction, even the body must find satisfaction. He uses the word fulfillment. The fulfillment for the mind is to get knowledge. The fulfillment for the vital is to get pure enjoyment, ananda. That is its right. It has to seek for ananda. We also seek for ananda, but in the wrong way. We do it with desire, attachment, and ego. But the ananda should be desireless, without attachment, and without ego. That would be the ultimate satisfaction for the ego. What about the ultimate satisfaction for the body? free of disease and free even of death. So that would be the ultimate satisfaction. An exclusive path of abstract thought would be justified. Okay? Perhaps if the divine had made things in such a way that only the knowledge aspect was necessary, then we can say that Jnana Yoga is the aim. But it is not like that. So I'm going to point out in the next phrase or two. An exclusive path of abstract thought, in other words, Jnana Yoga, would be justified only if the object of the supreme will in the universe has been nothing more than a descent into the activity of the ignorance operated by the mind as blinding instrument and jailer. Why jailer? Because the supreme is coming down and coming down into ignorance, he's saying, operated by the mind as blinding instrument and jailer. So it is the mind which is the highest if the divine will was like that. But the divine will is not like that at all. Okay. Operated by the mind as blinding instrument and jailer through false idea and sensation, and the ascent into the quiescence of knowledge equally operated by the mind through correct thought as enlightening instrument and savior. So Srila is saying that even if you go to the higher level and the self is the only aim, then he is not, the next sentence makes it very clear. But the chances are that there is an aim in the world less absurd and aimless. So very clearly he's telling you that Jnana Yoga cannot be the only part. There has to be Bhakti Yoga, there has to be Karma Yoga. All these things have also to be taken into account. But the chances are that there is an aim in the world less absurd and aimless. Provided you think that Jnana Yoga is the only way. An impulse towards the absolute, less dry and abstract. Now, the Jnana Yoga path is certainly dry and abstract. It does not have the fluidity and the juicy part of the vital. The vital is warm, the mind is cold. So, less dry and abstract. Certainly, the divine wants also the emotional part to develop and get its satisfaction. A truth of the world, more large and complex, a more richly infinite height of the infinite. So, other things also must come in. Not only mind, but vital and body also. Certainly, an abstract logic must always arrive as the old systems arrive. Old systems, we talk of the traditional paths. Okay. At an infinite empty negation or an infinite equally vacant affirmation. What does it mean? When you go to the self, remember that you are in a immutable static consciousness. Okay? So this is emptiness. That's what the Buddhists say. The emptiness is a negation. But that same negation, that which is featureless, can be seen as full. So when he's saying infinite empty negation, he's saying that that's how the Buddhists and the Mayavadins see it. Okay? But if you see it as an equally vacant affirmation, that means the self is itself free of features. It can give all features. That's an affirmation. And that is the Advaita path. The Vedanta. It agrees that the self is featureless, but it's not an empty featureless. It is potentially full featured. For abstract, it moves towards an absolute abstraction. That's a Buddhistic path. And these are the only two abstractions that are absolutely absolute. Either you think that the ultimate reality is zero, like the Buddhists think, or the ultimate reality is a Satchidananda, which is full of everything. It is vacant, it is featureless itself, but it can give all features. Somewhat like the seed and the tree. Okay. If you think the seed has, if you cut up the seed, you will see nothing in it. You will not see leaves and flowers and all. But it is potentially, it can produce a seed, the tree. It can produce leaves, flowers, fruits, bark, everything it can produce. Okay? So that's what is the difference between infinite empty negation and the infinite equally vacant affirmation. Both are the same. Both are the same, but the one who is looking into it is looking in a different way. Okay? That's it. But a concrete, ever deepening wisdom, waiting on more and more riches of infinite experience, and not the confident, abstract logic of the narrow and incompetent human mind, is likely to be key to a divine supra-human knowledge. Look at the language. Shakespeare is always saying chances are likely to be. He never imposes his views on you, but he gives you suggestions. Okay? He knows very well that what he's saying is true, but yet he puts it in that way. He's taking you by the hand and showing you the path, not insisting on anything himself. But a concrete, ever deepening wisdom, waiting on more and more riches of infinite experience, and not the confident, abstract logic of the narrow and incompetent human mind, is likely to be the key to a divine, superhuman knowledge. The heart, the will, the life, and even the body, no less than the thought, are forms of a divine conscious being and indications of a great significance. You pronounce the word indices, okay? The singular is index. And so not indices, you don't pronounce it indices, you pronounce it indices. Okay? And it's a plural of index. An index is a sign. Okay? So that's what Shri is saying. The signs of the heart, will, and life are also equally important, like the thought. That's what it's saying. These two have powers by which the soul can return to its complete self-awareness, or means by which it can enjoy it. So there you are. These, which are the powers? Heart, will, and life. The heart, will, and life is very interesting. The heart is located. The heart is the emotional being, is located near the solar plexus. Okay, it's a vital. The will, there is no location in the surface, but it is the will is usually from the psychic being. Okay. And the life is the lower vital, in the lower stomach, that is the location. And even the body, no less than thought, are forms of the divine conscious being, and in this is great significance. The divine can be can be can be obtained. The divine can be reached also through the heart, and also the will, and even the body. The Hatha Yoga does that. Okay, through practices in the body, it gets some sort of divine consciousness. These two have powers by which the soul can return to its complete self-awareness. Complete self-awareness in mind, life, and body, vital, or by which it can enjoy. The object of the supreme will may well be a culmination. Again, he is giving you only a suggestion. The object of the supreme being, the object of the supreme will may well be a culmination, the ending, including everything, in which the whole being is intended to receive its divine satisfaction. The heights enlightening the depths, the material inconscient revealed to itself as a divine by the touch of the supreme superconscious. He's saying that the Jnana Yoga is and the Bhakti, these are all giving up the lower body, mind, life, they are giving up. But Shantu says in our integral yoga, we won't give up. It's very difficult, but we will also include them. Let them be partners in the spiritual life. Even the body will be partners in the spiritual life. That's what it is. Okay. How much time do we have? We have got quite a lot of time. We have got more than 10 minutes. So we read the next one. The traditional way of knowledge. So who will read next? Either,
Can I read, Rangada?
yes, Sarika, surely you can, surely.
The traditional way of knowledge proceeds by elimination and rejects successively the body, the life, the senses, the heart, the very thought in order to merge into the quiescent self or supreme nihil or indefinite absolute. The way of integral knowledge supposes that we are intended to arrive at an integral self fulfillment, and the only thing that is to be eliminated is our own unconsciousness, the ignorance and the results of the ignorance. Eliminate the falsity of the being, which figures as the ego, then our true being can manifest in us. Eliminate the falsity of the life, which figures as mere vital craving and the mechanical round of our corporeal existence. Our true life in the power of the Godhead and the joy of the infinite will appear. Eliminate the falsity of the senses with their subjection to material shows and to dual sensations. There is a greater sense in us that can open through these to the divine in things and divinely reply to it. Eliminate the falsity of the heart with its turbid passions and desires and its dual emotions. A deeper heart in us can open with its divine love for all creatures and its infinite passion and yearning for the responses of the infinite. Eliminate the falsity of the thought with its imperfect mental constructions, its arrogant assertions and denials, its limited and exclusive concentrations. A greater faculty of knowledge is behind that can open to the true truth of God and the soul and nature and the universe. An integral self-fulfillment, an absolute, a culmination for the experiences of the heart, for its instinct of love, joy, devotion, and worship. An absolute, a culmination for the senses, for their pursuit of divine beauty and good and delight in the forms of things. An absolute, a culmination for the life, for its pursuit of works of divine power, mastery, and perfection. An absolute, a culmination beyond its own limits for the thought, for its hunger after truth and light and divine wisdom and knowledge. Not something quite other than themselves, from which they are all cast away, is the end of these things in our nature, but something supreme in which they at once transcend themselves and find their own absolutes and infinitudes, their harmonies beyond measure.
So, very big para. And Sridhar is saying that the other yogas are rejecting the mind, life, and body. But we don't have to eliminate the mind, life, and body. We have to eliminate the errors of the mind, the wrong movements of the heart, and all the wrong things which are in the body. Sickness, okay, tamas, all these things we have to eliminate. Elimination is necessary, but not the heart and the mind and the vital and the body. Not that. We have to reject their defects, not the thing itself. Okay? If a man has got a disease, you don't kill the man. You don't kill the man and say, finish, problem solved. Okay? You have to remove his illness. It should be operation successful, patient alive. It shouldn't be operation successful but patient dead. It shouldn't be like that. The mind and its defects, the vital and its defects, the body and its defects. Remove the defects, not the mind, life, body. That's what Sridhar is saying, and he's saying it in a very categorical manner. He's repeating the word eliminate, eliminate, eliminate 100 times. Okay, so we have 8 minutes left. I'll do one thing. It's very clear what he's saying. I'll just read the summary and then we can see what we say. The traditional path of knowledge rejects all the paths of the lower surface nature. Body, life, senses, heart, and even thought finally, in order to attain to the Brahman consciousness, the self, the silent witness, the supreme nihil of the Buddhists, or the indefinable absolute of the Advaita. By doing what? By rejecting body, life, senses, heart, and even thought. But the integral yoga rejects nothing. It believes that all the parts of the lower nature have divine elements in them, though now covered by dense ignorance, darkness, distortion, and perversion of the inconscient. So, the integral yoga purifies the lower parts to eliminate their defects and transmute them into their divine corresponding nature. So, the integral yoga rejects ignorance and its results. It tells the aspirant to eliminate falsity of being, which is the ego, so that the true being of man can emerge in the forefront. Eliminate the falsity of life, which is vital craving and desire, so that God's power, joy, may manifest in man. Eliminate the falsity of senses, which sees only the outer form and the dualities, so that the true sense may see the oneness and the divine presence in all things. Eliminate the falsity of the heart, which is full of muddy passions and dual emotions. The true heart will preside over the nature, and love for all creatures will become living reality. Love for all will become living reality. Eliminate falsity of thought, its arrogance, its artificial mental constructions. Then a greater and truer knowledge will reveal itself of God, man, and universe. You will get knowledge of God, knowledge of man, and knowledge of universe. An integral self-fulfillment for each part of our nature is the aim of the integral yoga. And what is that? The heart will have love, joy, devotion, worship. Life will culminate in divine power, mastery, perfection. The thought will attain truth, wisdom, light, knowledge. Each part will get rid of the falsities and impurities and attain to its divine counterpart and origin. Each part will transcend its lower nature to to attain its divine higher nature. This is what he said in the paragraph. Very clear and very not only clear to us, but also in language also very clear. Do not reject the mind, heart, and the body, but get rid of their defects and use them. The divine wants all these things also to become perfect. That's what he said. Okay? I hope it went off well. And all of you can hear me now.